realized after we talked with some of our team members, we have not taken the time to specifically talk with you about what God has been doing here on Giving Tuesday. Pardon me, it's been a long day. Specific to the Rogo Foundation and our Giving Tuesday effort. I'm joined by one of our executives, Ron McCoy. Ron, would you share with them a little bit about your role, knowing that they have not heard from us all day?
Yeah, of course. So I have the pleasure of serving as the executive director over the foundation. So Rogo School, our residency program for campus pastors and worship leaders, and then all of our campus launches and campus revitalization efforts at all of our campuses for Sandals Church.
And I get to serve as the advancement director for both Sandals Church and our Rogo Foundation. So I work under Ron's leadership, love getting to serve with him, and I got to tell you, today has been an insane day. You know, this is our second Giving Tuesday effort. Last year, we prayed about it. We felt that God was calling us to attempt to raise $50,000 around the revitalization or relaunching of Emmanuel Baptist to be Sandals Church Azusa, which is going to be launching here just in a few months.
Yeah, we have pretty quick,
So we're really excited about that. But, you know, we knew Giving Tuesday 2020 was coming. We had no idea what a dumpster fire of a year 2020 was going to be. And we started having conversations pretty early on into the COVID pandemic about what is our goal going to be for Giving Tuesday 2020 in light of all the challenges and difficulty. And I don't know that I will forget. I forget a lot of things. I don't know that I'll forget this. And it was being in your office and us beginning to talk about this. And you asked me what I thought. And I thought I was being really bold and audacious because I said maybe $100,000 for our Giving Tuesday goal. And then you decided to drop an atomic bomb on the conversation. Could you share with our audience what that was like, how you arrived at the number that you arrived at, just that process?
Yeah, you know, so I was actually talking with Pastor Dan Zimbardi, our executive pastor at Sandals Church, and we were just talking about the goal, and he said, hey, why don't you go spend some time, think about it, pray about it. And so we circled up maybe 2 or 3 days later, and I went and did that. I went and just sat and prayed about it, and really thought about it. I kept hearing from God $250,000.
Did you hear that? It wasn't $250.
Yeah, no, it was $250,000, which kind of felt crazy, but I thought, well, I felt like that was clear, and so when I circled back with Dan a few days later, and I told him, he says, that's what I heard from God too, you know. And so it was just affirmation that it felt like, man, this is what God would have for us. It seemed really crazy at the time, considering we felt like $50,000 last year was a stretch. But here we are today.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here 90, what time is it? 90 minutes. So we started this morning at about 8 o'clock out in Anaheim.
Yeah.
And look, we're at, I think, just over $230,000, and we've got about 90 minutes left to go.
So if you don't know, I don't want you to stop watching, but what I want you to do is to make note that the web address you're going to want to visit is rogofoundation.com/givingtuesday. See, about 6 months ago, we had a church reach out to us in Anaheim, California. And this isn't the first time that this has happened. This is why the Rogo Foundation exists. And we had a church reach out to us to begin the conversation about what does it look like to be effective stewards of the kingdom asset that they've been entrusted with. They were at a season with their church that had been established back in the 1950s in Anaheim. The community's changed so much. So many people have left, transitioned, things have changed, and they were down to about 30 faithful members. And they were beginning to consider, what does the future look like? Are we called to go it alone? Do we just begin to wind things down? Or do we look for something else to ensure that this property will continue to be a piece of property where the gospel message is proclaimed? And if it is, who are we supposed to partner with to do that in Anaheim, California? They reached out to Sandals Church. They reached out and got connected to you.
Yeah.
And so could you give a little flyover, just sharing your relationship and development with the team at Crescent? And kind of bringing us to about 2 weeks ago. Something big happened about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so, you know, it's funny. It started out as just the lead pastor who was thinking about retiring, reached out, it just started with a phone call, and he said, hey, I've heard about you guys. I'm thinking about retiring. You know, I care deeply about this church. I care deeply about these people, and I want to make sure that it's cared for. And I understand that you guys partner with churches, and that you replant them, and then I need to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
That was basically how the conversation started.
Yeah.
And so I began meeting with him over probably 4, 5, 6 weeks, and then that widened to some of the elders in the church, and eventually the entire congregation. And so after many conversations,
Right.
A lot of really just pouring in relational equity with the existing members, they decided unanimously just a couple weeks ago to say, we want to be Sandals Church Anaheim. And so they voted unanimously to become a Sandals Church campus. And
I don't want that to just blow by the audience.
yeah.
2 weeks ago, 100% of the membership got together and decided to vote ahead of schedule,
Yeah,
and 100% of them voted
yeah,
to come together with Sandals Church to basically give up their leadership of this property,
yeah,
for it to no longer be Crescent Southern Baptist Church,
that's right.
but to become Sandals Church Anaheim, because they recognized together we could do more than either one of us could do apart from each
Yeah,
other.
yeah,
And so today, we've been engaged in this effort of raising $250,000 in 24 hours towards the larger revitalization effort in budget, which is $900,000.
$900,000 is the goal.
So here we are, roughly 90 minutes out from the end of Giving Tuesday, globally recognized day to support the work of nonprofits. The Rogo Foundation is a 501c3 recognized nonprofit here in the United States, based out of Southern California. And we're at $230,000+. We're about 20 grand shy of our budget.
Yeah, yeah.
So the reason why we're coming to our YouTube Sandals Church audience is to, one, celebrate this with you guys. Many of you may have seen all of the stories happening on social media, received some of the emails. You've been praying. Maybe some of you have been giving. Thank you. We are so grateful for your partnership. We treasure your prayers. For those of you who have shared what's been going on social media, thank you for this. And we would ask you, don't stop praying. We'd ask you, when this our time together, this live stream wraps up, would you stop and would you pray that God would provide? But I know one of the things that we wanted to do is we wanted to talk to the people who might be seeing this maybe for the first time, or are watching this and are kind of feeling a little bit of a stirring. What would you share with those people who love the content of Sandals Church,
Yeah.
but maybe they're not even in California, maybe they're in another state? We know many of you are even in different countries.
Yeah.
What would you share with them?
Yeah, well, look, I would say that the beautiful thing about what we get to do here is really watch and invite people from all over the world to give to a kingdom effort to reach people. And it's one of the things that I think is most encouraging about days like today. You know, ministry is hard. It's hard work. There's hard seasons. And when we get to walk in a day like today, and we get to see literally hundreds of people, I think over 500 people today, throughout the day, have given sacrificially, above and beyond their regular tithes and offerings, to say, reaching people is worth a sacrifice. And I recognize that that my contribution, whatever it is, we've had people give $10 gifts, and we've had people give $10 and $20 and $25 and $30,000 gifts. And listen, every dollar matters. And so I think what I would want to encourage people with is, if you're thinking about giving and you feel that stirring, follow that prompting that the Holy Spirit has stirred within you, and make a contribution. And every dollar matters, and it's the contributions of hundreds and hundreds of people,
Literally,
that God has magically made this big amount. And so I'm encouraged by that. I hope it's encouraging for the folks who are watching and listening to this. And man, it's how God does His work, is through His people. And so I think it's a very special thing for people to participate in. I think it's an exciting thing. And I think God uses those gifts to reach people. And that's what we do.
You know, rogofoundation.com/Giving Tuesday. There you can see a great video from Pastor Matt Brown, our lead and founding pastor. And you actually can hear a little bit from Moy Navarro. He's going to be the campus pastor for Sandals Church, Anaheim. We're so excited for this opportunity. I would say, man, if you have questions about what's going on here and you'd like us to address those, I would say drop something into the comments over the next 24 hours. We'll do our best to respond to those. If you have specific questions for Ron or for myself, you can go to rogofoundation.com, click on the contact us, drop your questions in there. But again, if this is something that where you have been blessed by the ministry of Sandals Church, if you have been able to consume some of the content digitally, if you have friends and family in Southern California who are a part of Sandals Church and you've seen their lives impacted by this vision of being real, and you feel like God is maybe calling you to be a part of this, I want to encourage you. Make that decision to step forward, because it's not how much you give, it's that we move in obedience and engage in what God is inviting us to be a part of. So if that might be you, I want to encourage you to take that step tonight and help us get past that $250,000 mark. God bless you guys. I got nothing else wrong. Anything in closing?
No, that's it. God bless you. Thank you for watching, and we appreciate your support.
God bless you.